Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Inner Conquest, the world's greatest modern metaphysics channel. I'm your host, Jacob Edens, and today we are going to be discussing how to optimize your physical body. So, when you think of your body, what do you think of, right? Do you think of it as yourself, or do you think of it as a human sheath that you're in? Your body could be compared to a computer in many ways. And additionally, it's a vehicle that your soul is inside. This is very important to understand for a couple of reasons, right? If you don't disidentify with your body, meaning that you don't understand that you're an eternal soul that is in your body, then when you identify with your body exclusively, you become extremely vulnerable, okay? Doesn't mean your body's not hyper important for this experience, but you just want to understand that nothing can harm or touch you, your real self, unless you believe it to be so. Your body, however, is a physical, dimensionally programmed thing that operates within the rules of this realm. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your identity is correct in who you actually are, because when you do that, you become unlimited, meaning that you have the ability to use your 12 faculties of mind to think outside the box of any circumstance that presents itself to you in life, and you are able to overcome that through immediately adopting the identity of the version of yourself that's aware of the solution of that now. So that's how you conquer reality. That's Inner Conquest's main thought process, right? So your ability to overcome things. You're in a world where there's always shit breaking down, there's things going crazy, and essentially what happens is you overcome those things by becoming a greater version of yourself, which means that this universe serves purpose and that it allows you to expand your capabilities to a level that you would not have expanded to had you always had your full power, right? It's kind of like if you're weight training, you put a weight vest on, you take the weight vest off, you're like, oh my God, I'm 20 times stronger than I would have been if I didn't train without the weight vest, right? But when you're training with the weight vest, there are constraints and constrictions. So as you understand more of the truth of the reality that you're operating in, you gain more of a realistic grasp of how the game is actually operating. You're not operating from just beliefs about things. You know how it works. Like if you know in chess that you can move your pawn piece 2 spaces when you start, it's not just like, oh, sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. You're like, no, I can do that every single time and it's going to work, right? So the idea behind this channel and the consulting behind it is understanding the real actual parameters of the game and then adopting an identity of someone who is a master at the game, because there's a reflective element to this universe, right? You can look at things like the mirror principle, etc. It always reflects who you are from an identity standpoint. So now once you understand that base mechanic, which is essentially discussed in all of my videos, additionally, the modern metaphysics protocol has that really in depth. If you want more understanding of that, feel free to check it out. Once you understand that different mechanism, or not different, that simple mechanism, now it's really about crafting that identity to a level that you're really, really happy with, right? If you're in a game, right, and you have a character that you can do anything with, you want to highlight your attributes, your traits, and your skill sets that you would find enjoyable, that you would deem something that would make this game worth playing. So that is what you could call a dream vision. That is what your optics should be focused on. And once you have that clarified and put out in writing, you can actually install that into the hardware that is the body, right? The body is essentially a vehicle for your soul, but it's a computer at the same time. It's a supercomputer. It's the greatest piece of technology that's ever been invented, ever, okay? I mean, it heals itself. It can make sound. It's made out, it has metal in it. It's ridiculous, dude. You're in a supercomputer, okay? So once you start looking at it from that perspective, you're like, okay, well, I'm in a car, right? And my car is actually not really a car because it has a potential to upgrade itself and be whatever I want it to be. Now your thought process is put in a place of accuracy. Now you are thinking righteously. You're understanding that you have conscious creative control over not only your experience, but through your physical vessel as it listens to you all the time. So, how do you optimize your vehicle to listen to you? Well, you structure your day in a way in which you use your mind in your speech to command from your true self, who you actually are, that eternal soul, as commanding the game from a power position of what you want to be now, okay? That's a big deal, because if you're doing an affirmation, but you don't believe in who you are, or you don't understand why it's doing what it's doing, and you're just kind of doing this, it can work over time. But in order to get the results that you want fast, you have to understand the mechanics behind what you're doing, the vibratory resonance that's actually ingraining itself into your molecular structure, which is affecting your cellular expression and your genetic expression, right? So as you really understand these things, you can hammer them into not only your central nervous system, but into the subconscious parameters of your body, which are essentially the things that keep your heart beating all the time, keep your blood pumping, right? There's autonomic nervous system that is running on what you could call a loop, right? So you can take conscious control of those loops and you can program in what you want all the time. I heal really fast. I always have tons of energy. My cognition is great. My ability to be limber just keeps getting better and better and better. I look a certain way. I feel a certain way. And as you put times in your day to command and affirm and install these new programmings, and especially right when you wake up or right before you go to bed, you build this rhythmic structure of daily process of confirmation, affirmation, and commandment of who you are, your whole expression starts to change. And now life is much more video game-esque, because now that you have these little sections of input, you can consciously just install whatever you want. And as you install these things, you see in real time, your reality begins to reflect that, right? Because there's a metaphysical and there's physical reflections, right? So metaphysical is everything in what you could call your fourth dimensional reality. So that's your realm of thought and emotion. That's your blueprint reality, your creative space. Everything comes out of that fourth dimensional reality and is physicalized into the third dimensional reality. So you want to prioritize that, because as you prioritize that, you gain mastery and control over that, what you could call inner domain. That's the realm of what you call inner engineering. So as you inner engineer yourself, you are essentially building yourself from the inside out, which is great because you are the sole author of that realm, right? You're the only one who's in that conscious space. So as you dominate that conscious space, you understand the laws and mechanics that externalize reality. So as you understand those, you start to go, oh, these are going to naturally unfold from doing this input. So my time is best spent mastering these inputs. And you don't worry as much about the external world. When you look at different law of assumption communities and they say, circumstances don't matter, it's because they don't, because that's not your power position, right? Your input power position comes from that internal locus of focus and control. And as you master that domain, as you set that internal domain into motion through, you could use possible ideations of it as a game, right? This is a game. This is how I play the game. And then you adopt the identity, fourth dimensional thinking, I am who I want to be now, of someone who has mastered that game. I'm a master of that game. You start to express that in that fourth dimensional reality, which is layering a state of consciousness through which you can operate broadly, okay? There is nothing you can claim externally that you have not claimed internally. And that means that when you want to be something, you build that state in consciousness because you have total freedom to operate within a state, okay? Think if you've ever been in a poverty state or a sick state, right? You can have as much poverty and as much sickness as you want because you're in that state. That state is built out, it's focused and built a reality prison around your awareness. You can only see within that state. So when you do that for positive things, for health, wealth, great relationships, you can only see victory and glory in those states. And that's really the name of the game. It's kind of how you conquer reality, right? As you conquer that internal world and as you build it up into the echelon of whatever standard you want to maintain chronically, you go around as the living embodiment of that successful principle of your choosing, right? It's not that hard. You just got to get the principles and then you got to really clarify exactly what you want. So as you go through that process, you understand the base mechanics, then you get real clear on what you want, you install it, and then you understand that if you've ever had a chronic negative disposition, you walk around and it follows you around like a servant, right? So now you're going to flip all those negative chronic dispositions into positive chronic. What's the opposite of a disposition? Chronic? very cool states, to use a scientific term, the coolest states, right? And now as you're sequentially setting up your day to layer in these great states, you're building a life that's fucking kick ass, and every single day you wake up, you're excited to live your life. So what you can do, if you choose to work with me, you have 3 different options. Number 1, you can watch all of the free videos. Everything is in here for free. So if you just want to learn about metaphysics, principles, human optimization, all that stuff, it's completely free in the YouTube channel. There's over 200 videos on this stuff. Additionally, you have 3 options to work with me if you want to spend a little bit of coin. If you're feeling like Mr. Moneybags or Mrs. Moneybags, that's great too. You have the Modern Metaphysics Protocol, which is your base protocol for all things metaphysics. Standard metaphysical understanding on a foundational, fundamental level that you can master extremely easily, okay? 6 weeks program, 6 calls with the big dog. Additionally, you have coaching and tech support as well for a month of that time. So on top of that, if you want to go further, you have the Spartan 1 Human Optimization Protocol. Now, when you do a protocol, read the different Gamma AI presentations that I have on it, because it goes down and it breaks down. There's a lot of stuff in each protocol. It's important that you understand what it is before you go in and purchase something like that. Spartan 1 is a human optimization protocol. It is focused on the foundation of modern metaphysics, but is more ingrained in optimizing your human body, because you are limited and governed by how effective your body can influence the world around you, and additionally execute on behalf of your will. I want to go swimming, but my arms don't work. Well, you can't go swimming. So your body governs the ability for you to enforce your will and act in the world in the way that you see fit. So it's very important that you understand and clarify and edify all of the different things that you want your physical apparatus to do. Because if you chronically are in a negative disposition, you're just going to keep getting more and more limited until you die. You're like, this sucks so bad. Leave this body here. I'm going to go do something else. Okay? So don't let that happen. Be legit. That's what the Spartan 1 Human Optimization Protocol is. It's a 12-week protocol. It's much more in-depth, and additionally, all the details are on the presentation. The third thing, if you want to throw around a little bit of coin, is you have a la carte coaching with me. You can do one-on-one sessions. If you just want to shoot me an email, or if you just want to text and work through some issues, that's totally fine as well. You'll see that on the link tree for the a la carte stuff. So, more important than any of that stuff, guys, go conquer. I'll see you in the next one. Shoot me an email if you need anything. Later.